How's it going, everyone? I want to take you guys through 10 awesome PlayStation Store game deals under the price of $10. A lot of great stuff across the Essential Pick sale, the under $15 sale as well. A lot of the deals that we have covered in the past, but some of you guys might find the deals relevant to you. So let's get right into it. We'll go through everything pretty quickly. But first of all, Metro Saga bundle is 85% off for $8.99. This is a great deal for Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, as well as Metro Exodus, and it's the Metro Exodus Gold Edition, so you get the bonus DLC. Now, I definitely have more fond memories with Metro 2033 and Last Light. Those are two games that I legitimately grew up playing, being, you know, games in that early 2010s. I was a little bit older at that point, but definitely a little bit nostalgic towards 2033 and Last Light. Exodus, I enjoyed. I didn't have as great of a time as I did with Last Light, but it was still a very good atmospheric first-person title, and, you know, $9 for all the content that you're getting, this is a really, really good value pickup, so I would definitely give it a recommendation. Next up, we have Dying Light: The Following Enhanced Edition, 70% off for $9. This is just an incredible deal. Dying Light 1 is a fantastic game, and I've said it before, like, I like Dying Light 2, and I think it's a pretty good game, but Dying Light 1 was a tremendous game. This game, from a visual standpoint, back in 2015, looked great, it played great, the parkour was good, the gameplay was good, and I would say the gameplay and the combat was even better than what it was in Dying Light 2. I think for $9, this is a great buy. Obviously, you know, Techland did all they could in updating this game. Do not be expecting more updates for this game. It came out in January of 2015, and I think it wrapped up its updates in, like, mid-2022. I think, literally, Dying Light 1 was getting updates after Dying Light 2 came out. Techland, just take notes. Everybody needs to take notes from Techland, because they do a great job. Even if Dying Light 2 didn't hit home with me, I still did like that game, but Dying Light 1 was fantastic, and I imagine Dying Light 2 is just going to get better and better over time. Next up, we have The Last Remnant Remastered, which is 60% off for $8. The Last Remnant is a pretty unique Square Enix JRPG. It certainly has its issues. It's got a really, really unique battle system, which I think that is the element of the game that is the most compelling. I didn't find the story that gripping. It was fine. Now, this is a game that had an interesting release cycle. It was actually an Xbox 360 exclusive when it came out. Then it came out on PC, and then it didn't see a PlayStation release until the PS4 version came out. You know, the initial $60 price tag was, it would never be worth $60, but at $8, you know, if you're a JRPG fan and you want something a little bit more unique as far as battle system goes, this is a good one, and I would say give it a look. Next up, XCOM 2 The Collection, 90% off for $9.99. I mean, how many times do you guys need me to sing the praises of XCOM 2? I think it's a tremendous game that ultimately the only thing holding it back, especially on consoles, is its technical performance, which is a bummer. But the game itself is still really good. If you're a tactics fan, you're gonna really enjoy the game. It's challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding as well. And the collection includes the bonus content, War of the Chosen being the most notable one, and you're really gonna get your money's worth out of this one. Next up, speaking of tactics games, this one with the Japanese style to it, Valkyria Chronicles 4, $6 on this. This is a great deal. Loved Valkyria Chronicles 4. Picked this up the day it came out for $60, and I enjoyed it for $60, and now you're paying 10% of what I did at $5.99. I mean, it hasn't been that long since this game has come out. It's been, what, 5 years? 5 years and a game goes down to 10% of its initial cost? I don't know. I think that's pretty darn good. Love Valkyria Chronicles 4. It's got a great watercolor art style. The story's told in a pretty unique way through the use of this storybook. It works pretty well, and I do think that this is an accessible game for those of you that aren't big fans of JRPGs. Does it have its, like, quirks and more, you know, JRPG tropes? Sure, but I think for the most part, you can get into a relatively emotional war story, so a lot of fun to be had with VC4. Next up, This War of Mine Final Cut. When you're talking about war stories, Valkyria Chronicles and This War of Mine, totally different games. This War of Mine, 50% off at $9.99. This is an emotional and gritty, realistic look at, you know, war. It doesn't pull any punches. It's more of a darker tone, and it's not a game where you play as an overpowered soldier or anything like that. Rather, a group of civilians that, what is the biggest thing in war? It is all about survival and struggling with the lack of resources, and This War of Mine really you know, paints that picture, you know, very grim, and 11-Bit Studios does a very good job at creating games that are gonna pull at those emotional heartstrings like they did with Frostpunk. But I think it's an incredibly compelling game for 50% off, still at a, you know, a little bit of a higher price point at $9.99, but I think it's very much worth a pickup. Next up, Tales of Zestiria, 90% off for $5.99. Probably the weakest Tales of game that I have played, but Tales of is such a consistent franchise that even the weakest game in the franchise in Zestiria is still pretty decent. There were definitely some story decisions that left me a little bewildered, to say the least, but the gameplay's still good. You know, the characters are likable to an extent, and the overall story, I think there's still some interest to be had with it, and if you're a fan of JRPGs, you'll still probably like it. Is it the Tales of game that I would recommend for you to get into the franchise with? Absolutely not, but you know, at this price point of $6, if you played the other Tales of games, you like them, not a bad pickup whatsoever. Next up, Bioshock The Collection, $9.99 on this. It's Bioshock 1, 2, and 3. It's a tremendous deal for all the content you're getting. Bioshock Infinite is my favorite. I said Bioshock 3. Well, it's Bioshock Infinite, but you guys get the idea. Bioshock Infinite, I think, has a great setting. I think the gameplay is incredibly good. Bioshock 1, obviously, the game that most people gravitate towards as their favorite. Bioshock 2 is the one that everybody pretty much agrees is the weakest, but still a pretty darn good game. The entire collection is great. Hopefully, Bioshock 4 is making smooth progress, and maybe we'll see it one day. I don't know, but, nonetheless, Bioshock The Collection is a great value pickup. Next up, WipEout The Omega Collection, $7.99 on this. Man, a franchise that I feel like Sony can do so much more with. Arcade racers, not enough of them on PlayStation, especially not enough exclusive ones. And you don't need a ton of exclusive arcade racers, you just need one really good one, and man, WipEout was a darn good one. This game is great. Also had a great PSVR component, although, you know, now on the PS5, I don't think a lot of you guys will be digging up your VR 2016 headset, but I digress. It's still a great arcade racer, solid soundtrack, good bit of content, because this includes the content from WipEout 2048, which was a Vita title, WipEout HD, and its expansion, WipEout Fury. Trivia note, WipEout HD was actually the very first PlayStation Plus freebie back in, I think, 2010 it was. I remember when that was rolling out, and that was a pretty nice value offer back then. You know, when PS Plus wasn't required to play online, you guys get the idea, but nevertheless, WipEout Omega Collection, $7.99 on that. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, 70% off for $6. This is actually done by RGG. Yes, the people that brought you the Yakuza games. This doesn't get as much love. I'm not a Fist of the North Star guy. Yes, I've seen some of the memes, and they translate fairly well into this game as well, but you know, if you're a fan of that arcadey style beat 'em up experience, this is gonna offer you that as well. Good bit of content here as well, and for $5.99, if you're kind of, I don't know, find it a bit daunting of the idea that Yakuza has, like, you know, so many games, and you just want to get the RGG experience but not delve into the entirety of the Yakuza franchise, I don't know, maybe this will be a pretty decent offering for you. Obviously, it's probably gonna cater towards those of you that are Fist of the North Star fans, and I know that is a very big throwback. But nevertheless, $6 on that, pretty good. Want to give a shout to The Last of Us Remastered. It's 50% off for $9.99. It is on Plus Premium, but I mean, I imagine everybody has this game. If you don't have it, I don't even know what you're doing. I might, like, despise some of the things about Last of Us Part 2, but Last of Us 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. I actually just completed another playthrough of Last of Us 1, and I'm working on another playthrough after beating the game. I beat the game on PC, and now I'm playing through it again on PC, but it's a fantastic game, one of my favorite games of all time. It's great. Joel's one of the best main characters out of a video game. You know, Joel's right there with, like, tier 1 with Arthur Morgan, John Marston. Like, Joel is right there among the greats in the pantheon of video game main characters. And I know I'm leaving a lot of them. I literally said Joel and 2 Rockstar characters, but you guys get the idea. He is among the absolute greats of video game main characters. Hell, I'll throw Luke from Tales of the Abyss in there as well. A lower key mention. But Last of Us 1 is great. Obviously, the gameplay style is reminiscent of your typical PlayStation big budget title, third-person action stealth game. Story's great, atmosphere's great, visuals still hold up pretty well, even in this remastered version versus Part 1, and I say that. I recommend this because Part 1's still like $50 on sale, so, you know, nobody's trying to pay $50 for Last of Us 1, unless you're like me and you want to get suckered for the PC version. Nonetheless, Last of Us Remastered, $9.99 for that. Next up, we have A Way Out, 80% off for $5.99. Pretty good deal here for A Way Out, a co-op only title, but has a lot of good story moments, a little bit on the shorter side, but you can invite a friend to play with you for free, so, you know, you're spending $6, but you know, your buddy can play with you for free, even if it's not like local co-op. So it's a good time, and not a game that you're gonna play for a lengthy period of time, but overall the story's pretty good. South Park: The Stick of Truth, $7.49 on this. Tremendous game by Obsidian. I'd never expected a South Park RPG to be good, and boy, was I blown away. It's not a super lengthy game. You can beat this fairly quickly by RPG standards, but it's still a pretty darn good one, and if you're a fan of South Park, the humor is going to hit home with you. Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, $9.89 on that. Love me Mafia 2. This Definitive Edition, nothing to write home about, but Mafia 2 itself is a great game. Great story. The vibe of the game is tremendous. Definitely a more mature game, but yeah, $9.89 on that is great. And then Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. They're remaking the game, so maybe you want to wait on that, but that is $9 if you're a Plus Extra subscriber. It's in there as well. The final games we mentioned all on Plus Extra, but nevertheless, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, always going to be a good buy there, but a remake apparently in development, but I doubt we're going to get that until like 2027, so keep that in mind as well. So that'll do it for me. A lot of great deals under the price of $10 right now. Links to all of these in the description box below. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.